I'm Austin Wyatt. Welcome to Austin Wyatt Woodworks. Today, I'm going to show you guys how to build a shave horse. So here I'm laying out the sides of the base of the shave horse at 60 inches each. This is a really simple build, and I'm doing it out of construction grade white pine 2x6s. You don't need a lot of tools for this project either. I think I just used a drill and a circular saw. Here I'm just cutting those pieces the size. I'm not too concerned about how square my lines are or anything like that. This is just a piece of shop furniture. Some people like to make these look really nice. I just kind of want to get it done and get to it. So that's really what this video is about. It's not really going to look that pretty in the end, but it will function. It'll be easy to repair, and it should last for a little bit of time. So right now I'm just laying out the spacer blocks. I think I cut those to like 10 inches, but really doesn't matter for this. Marking out where I want the seat to go. And now this is just me attaching those spacer blocks. Everything will get 4 screws through it, screwed from both sides, just to make it a little bit stronger. I do want to make sure that everything is relatively flush at the top and the bottom, so that I have a good place to sit, nice flat plane for that. And here I'm sandwiching the spacer blocks between the two sides of the horse. So you can see I have 2 spacer blocks, one where it's a 3-legged shave horse, and so I have a spacer block where the 2 legs will go, and I'm leaving the side with the 1 leg open so that I can slip the leg in there, which we'll see in just a second. And then I have the middle spacer block right up against where I want the actual clamp of the horse to go, so that I don't have to mark that out or anything. I know I can just make my vise contraption right up against that spacer block. And here I am sliding in that front leg. It has a 15-degree rake to give it a little bit more stability, and we'll see in a little bit that the back legs also have a 15-degree rake and a 20-degree splay. I don't know if those angles matter that much. That's just kind of what I decided on. Felt good. And you can see that the front leg sticks out from the top a little bit. I'm not even going to trim that. Again, this is a piece of shop furniture. I really don't care about how it looks. So if you end up tackling this project, you can definitely make yours a lot prettier than mine. And right here, I'm just laying out for the back legs. Again, they have a 15-degree rake, 20-degree splay. So I'll go ahead and mark that 15 degrees on the actual horse. Here I'm cutting a 70-degree angle, and that'll give me my 20-degree splay for the back legs. For this cut, I definitely recommend a corded saw. My battery saw was having a little bit of trouble with it. I also need a new blade for it, so I don't recommend making a bunch of plunge cuts like I did. Well, it certainly did not like that.
What's going on?
It's just
against the grain. Oh, with the grain.
It's because it's battery, and it's a really steep rip that it just doesn't. Here I've screwed on some support blocks, and I'm screwing the legs into those support blocks. Eventually I'll carriage bolt through both of those back legs to give it a little bit of extra strength. But for now, this will work. And then my buddy who was helping me record asked me why I'm not doing this in a shop space and why I'm not doing any joinery, so. The advantage to this, Max.
Well, no, I mean what you're doing right now.
Is what I'm doing right now shows that, like, anybody can do that. You know what I mean? So I'm making this shave horse, and I'm not doing any joinery or anything like that because it's shop furniture. So it doesn't need to really be pretty. It just needs to last. You know?
Sure.
A lot of people take it a little bit further and do, like, some really nice joinery and stuff like that, but ultimately I'm not too concerned about it as long as it functions.
See? Reasonable answer.
Right,
Reasonable
and then
question.
so, like, because not everybody has access to a shop. I don't have access to a shop, really, so this way we can, you know, get this set up and, yeah. And now it's time to trim those back legs to size. Again, I recommend having a sharp blade for this because my saw did not like it. Now I'll go ahead and flip over the horse. I opted here to add some support blocks behind the back legs so I could get a little bit more meat to screw into. When I sat on it, it was a little bit creaky, so this should definitely help keep those legs in place. Now I'll drill out so that I can through bolt the front leg. I accidentally drilled out for the washer with too small of a bit, so that's why I'm struggling a little bit here. Perfect. I'll tighten that down a little bit later, but hand tight for now is just fine. Now I'll move on to the construction of the actual vise. I'm slipping in this 2x4 block with an angle cut on it so that the arm that hinges has more room to move. I think this block is about 14 inches long. Don't remember exactly, and I have no idea what angle I ripped onto it. Ultimately, the angle doesn't matter that much as long as the arm is able to move sufficiently. And now I've sandwiched in that 2x4. And you'll see here in just a second that I'll actually drill holes through those 2x6s so that I can slip a pin in for the arm to lever on. Here I am laying out for that hole. I think I went 1.25 inches in and 1.25 inches down. The actual spacing on this doesn't matter that much. And it was around this time that I realized that the arm was going to be too tight in the space that I left. So I ended up having to resaw this a little bit. I didn't have a table saw on me the day I built this, so I don't really recommend making this cut with a skill saw unless you're super comfortable with a skill saw. And even then, it's probably not worth it. It's probably just better to wait, get a table saw or a band saw and to do the cut right. But for me, this worked. I'm just laying out my line here It's not super important line. I just need to take about a 1/4 inch off to make sure that this arm can swing freely in the space that I have. You can see here, a little bit sketchy, but it worked. Now I'm drilling out the hole that the pin will go into so that the arm can lever. You can see that I have a hole above it. That was just a mistake, but not worth it to make a new piece. I think it'll do just fine. And here I'm using a 1/2 inch anchor bolt as my pin. You can use, a hex bolt, a wood dowel, really anything as long as the hole in the arm is bigger than the dowel, so that it can swing freely on it. Beautiful. Here I'm attaching the bottom jaw of the vise, just screwing it into that little platform that I had built. And here I'm attaching some support blocks for the top jaw of the vise. Now I'll move on to the foot pedal. This is actually what you press to get that clamping pressure. I am a little bit concerned about how I attach this. I think if the shave horse breaks, this will probably be the point of failure, but I can cross that bridge when I get there. I'm sure this will last for, a couple projects before I have to replace this. And now I get to go ahead and test it out for the first time. Now I'm attaching some leather to the jaws of the vise. This will give it a little bit of extra grip and protect the actual piece that I'm working on. This right here is actually Deserto cactus leather. I've made quite a few wallets and bags out of it. It's cool stuff. And now I'm applying some Eco Weld, which is basically just contact cement. I'll apply it to the jaws of the vise and the actual leather. Then wait about 30 minutes for it to get tacky, and it gets a really nice adhesion. And now I'll just stick it on. You can see here that my cuts on the leather weren't very straight. It kind of fits with the whole theme of this project, which is function over form. Again, it's definitely not the prettiest piece of shop furniture, but it works. And so I figured I'd record this video, show you guys how I did it so that you can tweak it, make it look pretty, make it work for you. But I am fairly happy with it. I'm excited to take a seat on it, start working on some chair legs, start making some spoons. And I'm sure it'll be featured quite a bit on this channel. And I appreciate you guys watching.